Good morning. My name is Charles Bililies, and I am the founder and CEO of Souvla, a brand of fast fine Greek restaurants with 5 locations in San Francisco. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that today and keep it brief to open up to some questions if there are some in the audience. So, our restaurants are very high volume. They're also quite small. Out of just over 1,000 square feet, a Souvla location can serve over 1,000 guests a day. And I want to just talk a little bit more about this fast fine model that we think that we've sort of pioneered. So when we opened our first restaurant in 2014, people didn't really know what to make of it. Souvla wasn't a conventional fast casual or a fast food restaurant, but we weren't full service either. You ordered your food at a counter, but there wasn't a serve line, there wasn't an open kitchen, and the menu had shockingly few choices on it. Our first restaurant was in a neighborhood. It wasn't in a financial district or wasn't in a mall, and we weren't simply just catering to the conventional workday crowd. Souvla was open in the evenings, on the weekends, and we didn't close in the middle of the day like most full-service restaurants do. Everyone loved it, but we couldn't come up with a good way to describe it, or at least the guests couldn't come up with a good way to describe it, other than just calling it that Greek place. In the early days, I, had a hard time articulating exactly what we were. It was only after several months of tinkering and tweaking did we settle on the term fast fine. This is sort of distinguishing the format that, with respect to the style of restaurant 6 years ago, didn't really exist, but it combined elements from several styles or categories of restaurants. Now, the origins of fast fine really begin with my own career path in the restaurant business, starting out cooking in full-service restaurants and luxury hotels, and then spending time in the kitchens, dining rooms, and back offices of Thomas Keller's restaurant group and Michael Mina's Mina Group. Just after the recession of 2008, I had this idea for Souvla, and the premise was simple. Tap into my Greek heritage and create a modernized version of the Euro sandwich that really hadn't changed since it came to the US in the 1970s. But I wanted to serve it in a format that brought together my fine dining background with a business model that could actually be profitable in a city like San Francisco, which even back in 2008 was going to see a $15 minimum wage and a mandatory healthcare spend for employers. And that's in addition to the other sort of conventional challenges like rising rents and a serious, serious labor shortage. And so here, we have Souvla and the fast fine model, which can be distinguished from fast casual or full service by several factors. The first here you see is the order process. Orders are placed at order counters positioned at the front of our restaurants, which keeps the dining rooms open and pushes the lines out the door. Your order is taken by one of our counter servers, not a kiosk or a tablet, mind you. These people are trained to welcome you to our restaurant and to make you feel at home. They're also there to answer any questions you may have, which is especially important in a Greek restaurant and a Greek menu with a lot of unfamiliar words like avgolemono or xenomavro, amongst many others. They also need to familiarize people whose first time dining with us with just the whole process, because people walk in and they kind of think that it's a full-service restaurant. You'll also notice that there's no overhead menu boards. There's no TV screens. There's no serve line that you might see in a more conventional fast casual restaurant. At the order counter, you order, you pay, and if you're getting a beverage, you receive your drink and a little number, and you're encouraged to find a place to sit. In just about 5 minutes, your food is brought to your table, and when you're finished, your table is bussed. There's no need to awkwardly meander through the dining room holding a tray of food, or certainly at the end of the meal, having to go up to some sort of a trash receptacle and sit there and sort through all of your trash. In looking at our restaurants, you'll see that there's a tremendous amount of thought and creativity that goes into the overall design and aesthetic. And certainly over the years, we've created our own signature look featuring extensive use of copper, subway tile, white pine wood. And while each restaurant is unique in their design and their layout, they're all unmistakably Souvla. In the evenings, the lights dim, candles go on the table, most people are drinking wine, and so it looks and acts and feels like a full-service restaurant while leveraging a lot of the efficiencies that make fast casual establishments so successful financially. One of the questions that we always ask ourselves in the design process, or really with any brand decision, is this nice enough that you would bring a date to? Over the years, we've had a lot of people go on first dates at Souvla, meet while waiting in line, or bond over their mutual love of the brand. It's actually one of the reasons why just last year we started catering weddings. Over the years, we would get dozens of requests every year, people asking Souvla to cater their wedding because they wanted to sort of close the loop, so to speak, on their relationship and really celebrate something that was just such a significant and important part of their courtship. And we, of course, had to figure out a way to get to yes. And of course, the format and the experience is very much the leading element of fast fine. The menu, and sort of what's on it or what's not on it, very much plays into this. You'll see that Souvla serves a very simple, streamlined, and curated menu of just 4 sandwiches or salads, featuring spit-roasted pork, chicken, lamb, or a roasted white sweet potato as the vegetarian offering. It's an evolution of, as I made mention before, the gyro or souvlaki sandwich. And of course, we also offer a lot of traditional Greek sides, like our roast potatoes that we roast in all of the rotisserie drippings, and a very traditional avgolemono soup, or an egg lemon soup. You'll notice, when looking back at the menu, and certainly in this photo here, that the menu item, or the menu itself is very, very curated. And really the only decision that the guest needs to make is whether you want the pork, lamb, or chicken, or veg, or you want it as a sandwich or a salad. Each dish has its own unique combination of vegetables, cheeses, and sauces. And so there's no build-your-own feature, though certainly people do like to customize, which we're always happy to accommodate. By curating our dishes, there's less likelihood that someone is going to build their own disaster. It also creates universally craveable dishes, like our chicken salad right here, which actually outsells our sandwiches now 2-to-1, so slightly ironic given our Greek sandwich shop roots. We're also able to maintain a very simple and streamlined supply chain, cross-utilize a lot of the same ingredients, keeping food waste at a minimum, and the ordering and prep process is very simple. And of course, the high-volume nature of our restaurants allows us, even at only 5 locations, to lock in contract pricing and deliver high-quality, naturally raised meats and organic produce at below-average industry food costs. At Souvla, we have one dessert. It's our frozen Greek yogurt, which we serve in our iteration of the classic New York coffee cup, if anyone's seen Law & Order or spent time in New York City at all. They're topped with traditional items like crumbled baklava or a sour cherry syrup we bring in from Greece called vicino. And by focusing only on one item, on one dessert, this frozen Greek yogurt, we're able to eliminate the need for a pastry chef, a pastry kitchen, and anything else like that. The price point at $5 and the sort of healthy-ish appeal, it's a very tart yogurt base that we make. It's perfect for those that are just looking for a little dessert treat without having to have some sort of big elaborate meal, or they're just looking for an alternative to your sort of more conventional baked good or ice cream. And a lot of people actually come to Souvla just for the frozen Greek yogurt. Again, we started off as a sandwich shop. Another very important distinction in this fast fine genre is a strong focus on beverage, in our case, really wine. We are proud to offer the country's only all-Greek beverage list, down to the sparkling water, with a very strong focus on Greek wine. We actually have our own line of Greek wines. We work with 3 wineries in Greece to produce 4 different wines under the Souvla label, with a very strong focus on native varietals, grape varietals to Greece. These really generate, first of all, a lot of people come to Souvla not even knowing that the Greeks make wine. So we're able to really evangelize and show what tremendous value these wines are, how delicious they are, and how food-friendly they are. And while beverage may only account for less than 10% of our overall sales, it's actually a major distinguishing factor in the fast fine category. And it's actually, for one of many reasons, our sales actually skew towards dinner, which is unusual in our category, or certainly in the fast casual category. By serving wine in stemware, we're able to create a visual signal to guests that this is more than just a sandwich shop or some sort of quick service place. It's a place that you can have a proper meal, complete with wine or beer, and, as I mentioned before, nice enough that you can take a date to. Of course, one of the strongest parts of Souvla in particular, and certainly the fast fine model, is our ability to be many things to many people. We provide tremendous flexibility with how guests interact with the brand, when and where. 60% of our revenue is off-premise, and an average Souvla location, as I made mention, can serve upwards of 1,000 people per day. This is through a combination of people dining in, people ordering for takeaway in the restaurant, people ordering online, either through our website or through the Souvla app, and also delivery through Caviar, which is Souvla's exclusive delivery partner. So the goal here is to create a seamless and consistent ordering experience, regardless of how you order or from where. We're continuing to iterate on this. Iteration has been a big topic so far in this conference. A couple years ago, we took it upon ourselves to sort of reimagine the urban drive-through experience. We operate only in San Francisco, and we don't have the sort of conventional drive-through you'll see here. This is actually a sidewalk-facing pickup window. We also lobbied the city of San Francisco to amend or revise their rules surrounding passenger loading zones, normally reserved for restaurants that offer valet parking. Obviously, no one valet parks anymore. So we've installed these 5-minute pickup, drop-up zones in front of all of our restaurants, allowing a delivery courier or someone that's ordering online to be able to pull up to the restaurant, have a place to park, jump out of their car, grab the food without even stepping foot in the restaurant, and then be on their way. And so this is a very sort of broad overview of the fast fine genre, something that I think very much is the future of restaurants. Setting aside the economic and regulatory challenges that this sort of helps navigate and overcome, I firmly believe that this is how people want to eat, especially those that reside in dense, expensive urban centers like San Francisco or New York City. At the end of the day, guests want approachability, flexibility, quality, consistency, and value. And Souvla and its pioneering fast fine format are able to check all of those boxes. Thank you all for your time today. Certainly able to take some questions. I got a couple minutes set aside for everyone. Jason's got the mic if anyone's...
Yeah, if anyone has a question, just throw your hand up.
Yes, sir. We are actively looking at New York City as our next market. We've been scouting real estate for the last almost 3 years now. So real estate being a big a big sort of challenge for us, finding the right physical space. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Who is the older gentleman in the photos? His name is Maki. He's of no relation to me. He currently resides on the Greek island of Ithaca, where he is the butcher, and he has no idea how famous he is now. Anyone else? Sir. It revolves around a rotosol, an 8-spit rotosol rotisserie. So we literally designed the restaurants around this. They're expensive, but it's the hardest working piece of equipment in there. The rest of it is actually quite concise. The original restaurant is 1,000 square feet on the ground. The kitchen's only about 300 square feet. But just really a combination of cold top prep tables, one steam well, and just a combination sort of griddle oven. So it's pretty concise. Yeah, that rotisserie, though, really does most of the work. So there's someone else over here. Yes, ma'am.
What was the process like with the city of San Francisco getting those 5-minute pickup spaces designated for your restaurant?
It involved just tapping into a lot of sort of my network over there. I was on the board of the Golden Gate Restaurant Association, which helped. We did a lot of city lobbying, and you basically, there's, like any other place, there's some person that runs the colored curb program, and you bring them all in. And actually, from our end, we looked at it. We always try and take more of a solutions-focused approach to whatever we do. So I was able to bring him and his whole department over, and we stood outside one of our restaurants, and there was a line of like 6 courier cars that were double parked in the middle of the street with their lights flashing, like trying to run in and grab food. And obviously no one likes to see that. And I was like, this is a way that we can certainly curb this sort of double parking. And of course, with the advent of rideshare, Uber, Lyft, everything else like that, I was able to point out how antiquated their rules were surrounding valet parking, which obviously no one else does. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So we have a pretty integrated tech stack that really lives sort of just outside of the guest view. I'm actually a big proponent. If you go back to the order counter, you'll see that there's no flashing screens or anything else like that. It's just we've been a long-time partner of Square, just the Square point of sale over there. But with that, we actually use a tremendous amount of tech to operate the restaurants. And so this is through just integrating, first off, anything that's ordered, whether in the restaurant or online or anywhere else, flows through kind of one set of pipes. There's one ticket printer. We haven't really been able to master the KDS just yet. So we're old school with the ticket printing. But everything else, whether it's lighting is done via an app from my phone, manager logs are emailed out automatically, all of those sort of mobile features that basically allow me to run 5 restaurants with 200 employees from wherever I am. So.
And that's all we have time for. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Bililies.
Thank you.